Oh no, I'm falling. Haha, that was cool. Welcome everybody to the fall theme. It's Coach Brian. I'm here for your advanced class. We're gonna get to that skill later. I'll just show you how to work on it. But first we're gonna do a sliders warm-up. So you're gonna need a few things depending on what kind of floor you have. So paper plates are great for like a carpet or any kind of soft ground. You could try socks if you're on hardwood or tile, or even some like dish towels can work. Or you could, just wear socks on your feet. You don't have to have them out. But something that can slide on whatever you're on. If you're on one of those air track mats, it might be best to scoot over and see what floor, maybe it's carpet or hardwood, next to your air track, because it's really hard to get those things to be very slippery. But we're gonna jump right in with the sliders warm up. Since I have this foam on top, I'm gonna do the paper plate sliders. And the first one is just 10 plank to tuck or plank to squat. So plank like push-up hold, you guys can meet me here. And I'm gonna slide my feet into the tuck, 1 and back, 2, 3, keep those arms straight, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way back, 10. Nice. I'm starting to feel a little warmer already. Okay, next is straddle. So we're gonna start in that plank. We're gonna bring our feet outside the hands to do kind of a standing straddle. 1, and back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Okay, the last one of these is a little bit harder still. It's the pike. So we're gonna start in plank and drag our feet in with legs straight into that pike. Everybody ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost there. 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're gonna give our arms a little break and lay on your back for a glute bridge exercise. So a glute bridge, if you haven't heard of that, is just this shape. It's like half of a table where you're using your bottom muscles to squeeze and get your hips off the ground. So our 10 is gonna be 10 each side, where we let one foot go out straight and back in, keeping the hips up the whole time. So I'm gonna do 10 on my left. Ready, go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got it. 6, higher hips. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, I lost my slider. There we go. And then 10 on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 2 more things. Almost done with the warm up. Next, we're gonna go back to the arms and do a kneeling push up, but instead of bending our arms very much, we're gonna try to go wide. And your arms can bend a little and then back in. So it's mostly this motion, but it might be really too hard to do it with straight arms. That's super advanced, so you can bend them just a smidge. Okay, ready? 10 of those. So wide and in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got it. Halfway. Whew. 6. I'm getting warm. 7, 8, 9. Last one. 10. And then we have one exercise that's kind of helps with your press handstand work, which is going to be like a middle split-ish drag to standing pike. So I know I didn't stretch my middle splits yet today, so I'm not going to go super far. but it's just kind of like wide. Wide is as comfortable for you. So for me, that's just like here. Hands where I would put them for a press handstand, and lean forward and slide, hold, and back down. So that's one. We're gonna do 10. There you go. 2. So I'm bringing my weight forward onto my hands so that it's like that press exercise. 3, 4, 5. And you can go, you can go a little lower than me if you have that flexibility easily. Just don't go so far that you kind of pull that muscle. 5 more, we got it. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. 10. Ta-da! Okay, we don't need those anymore. Nice work though, I like that sliders warm up. And it's a lot of good gymnastics muscles moving, okay? So a lot of core, a lot of shoulder strength, and a kind of something different. So let's get moving a little more freely with some trunk twists. I know it's getting cold out some places, it is here. So I need to take a little bit more time, warm those big muscles up. And how about some forward arm circles? And then we'll jump into our skills. I like the skills this week, they're gonna be pretty fun. And backward arm circles, nice and big. And then let's do also behind you and up. Remember, we're trying to keep the body mostly straight while the arms are moving. Good, and then also hug and open. See, my thumbs are up, because I wanna get that chest stretch right there. If they're down or something, or bent arms, it's not quite the same as that. Okay, and then do a small straddle, reach to one side, low as you can with the arm straight, so none of this drooping. Try not to twist in your hip and look at the floor. Look straight at the screen. Add that second arm for a little extra strength. 3, 2, 1, and up. Other side. Nice and straight, remember, with that top arm. Okay, ready to go. 3, 2, 1, and up. And stay in the straddle, bend forward. Getting those hamstrings for the first time with the stretch. You can go back and forth. You can hold it on one side. Let's see if your head is close, or even your chest if it's really easy for you. Other side. And one more time, just hanging out in the middle, even lower hopefully. And add some of the side to side arm swings. So we're crossing the arm, we're twisting the shoulders. Okay, and then the next one is through the legs and up without lifting the chest. Great, and turn that into a sumo squat. You can move in this a little, use the elbows, use the hands and twist. Just again, trying to widen those hips, get our legs working a bit. Let's go all the way down to one side. So it's like a side lunge, sometimes I call it. A couple times back and forth. Now I'm starting to feel my ankle stretch because I have this foot flat here. If you're on your toe, it's good, but you might not feel that same Achilles and ankle stretch, which is nice. Okay, and then down to a butterfly. Did all the stretches today. Head up, feet in close for the first one. You can flap the legs, you can tip forward with your belly, but let's not do the head down. Great, and then let it out a little bit, head down by your feet. And then a little bit more, head by the floor. This one I'm not even close today. And then into a pike, sitting pike. Let's sit up tall, point and flex the feet a few times. Make some big circles. Ankles are moving a bit more. Good, I'm gonna add a little neck stretch while I'm here, just because it's convenient. I don't think we have any backward rolls today, but especially on those days, I gotta make sure I warm my neck up. Good, and then let's open wide for a flat pancake stretch. Really make this a goal of yours to challenge yourself. Add some pillows under, or books under your feet if it's easy for you. You know, close them a bit if it's easy for you. But a lot of the skills we're doing in this level take a lot of compression, we call it, which means how close can you get your body to the floor in this stretch. And then if you can do that, can you do it in the middle of a skill like a press handstand or even an aerial kind of takes some of that flexibility at the end. Okay, let's tuck one knee back. A lot of times I skip this one because we do a similar one in the splits, but I'm leaning back. If it's easy for you, you can try to lift your hips a little bit off the ground, but let's only do one leg at a time. So I'm stretching this quad here. I'm gonna switch legs, get the other quad. You might be tempted to do both legs, but they've kind of said that it's not great for your knees to be out of line like that. So I'm trying to stay in line actually, and just push this up. Right there. Great, let's do our wrists a little bit more. So rocking back and forth. We do have a good amount of wrist stuff to do today, as most days actually, since we're not doing any trampoline in this class or a lot of flipping without the hands. Okay, and from here we'll get ready for the splits. Again, this one I'm trying to get this back leg stretch. So my hips are nice and low, and my chest, if I put my chest down, I don't feel it as much here. So I'm gonna do chest up a lot. There we go. Front leg straight, switch back to the hamstring. And let's go back to a lunge and add the pigeon stretch, or I think I heard it called the runner stretch sometimes, but for your glutes. So the knee is tipped over to the side. We're laying down on that front leg. It's really hard for me to keep my back knee under, so you'll see it looks a little weird. You might be able to do it better. There we go. So I'm still working on this one. All right, let's get back to a regular lunge and slide into the splits. Remember, whatever you have is great as long as you're thinking about the form. So facing the front leg, back knee as much under as possible, shoulder square. I'm gonna stay there maybe 15 seconds or so. You could do one hand up, you could do both hands up if you're feeling brave. And stay a little longer, 3, 2, 1. I didn't quite have it down, but pretty close for me. Okay, other side lunging. Front leg straight. And back leg up. And then tip that front knee over. This is a good stretch for your glutes, which is a big muscle group we sometimes forget in gymnastic stretching, or I sometimes forget. And back up. And we're ready for the splits on this side. And hold, you got it. Try to relax. This is the one that hurts even more for me. But I can still do no hands. And come out. And of course, middle splits. Ready, go. Use your hands to hold some weight. Use your elbows is fine also. Just don't come out early. And don't sit back on your bottom. Still holding it. 10 more seconds. 6, 5, 4, a little farther. 3, come on, 2, 1, and come out. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so we've got our lower body really stretched out. Let's do the cat stretch, let's do the bridge, and then a water break. And we can get going on the rest of it. So the cat stretch, remember, it's just really for the shoulders here. And for a lot of you that have flexible shoulders, go on your fingertips or put your hands up on something. You know, if you've got a chair nearby or a bottom step or a counter. And then we can even do the seal too. We do this mostly with the younger classes, but it is a nice way to stretch your back without being in the bridge. So you can almost relax it a bit more than having to push so hard. Okay, now we're ready for some bridges. Guess I'll take my socks off for this. Also, the warm-up was good, so I'm warm. All right, on your back. Remember the first one we just want to see, sometimes I call it the textbook bridge. What's the best bridge shape you can make? Hopefully it's a little better than mine. Ready, go. And down. Cool. Okay, the second one, a lot of you that are in this class, you know, you've got walkovers or you're working on it. Let's focus on the kicks today with straight leg. If you already have a walkover, try to play with, see if you can kick to like a split handstand and back to bridge. Okay, so we're not actually going over. We're just trying to find exactly the middle of your walkover. Okay, so go to a bridge, or you could stand to bridge, it's fine. Kick, hold the split, the bottom leg can come off the ground, hold it as long as you can, back to bridge. Okay, if you're still working on walkovers, just work on your bridge kicks, work on your kick hop, something like that. So everyone should be doing something similar right now. Maybe 5 tries. It's a pretty cool feeling when you can kick to a split handstand and hold it. So you'll be like, oh, okay, I do feel the handstand in my walkover. Couple more of those. Okay, finish up if you're not done. If you are done, let's get a quick water break, and we're gonna move on to our first skills. Okay, ready, go, water break. All right, we're back from water. So this is the advanced class. One of the goals we have for you to kind of like feel like you're making it in this class is a front and or back handspring. So we're gonna actually work on that first. I'm gonna show both of those, and then we'll talk about how to choose one, what your space is like. So you may not end up learning both of those at home. You might have to wait until you're back in a gym, but we'll try to give you some pointers if you're close or if you have it. Okay, so the back handspring, right, it's a jump back to handstand and then feet. We're okay with a step out landing or a feet together. Okay, so I'll just show what the back handspring is gonna look like. Okay. Yeah, I feel like mine, I'm bending my legs a little bit, but you kind of get the idea of the back handspring. Jump, hands, feet. Okay. The front handspring we usually do is more from a run or a kick, so I'm going to scooch back. I'm going to go kick to handstand really fast, push off my hands, and get over to feet. Okay, so here would be the front handspring from a run. Okay, something kind of like that. So you can see there's a lot of kick over, forward, so the front handspring. Both of those, they take a lot of pushing and strength in the handstand shape or in the shoulders. So let's all warm up with a few handstand shoulder pops, or blocks we sometimes call it. So we're kicking the handstand and pushing off the ground right away. I'm trying to work on my straight shape right there so that hopefully it works its way into my handsprings also. So this is a good warm up whether you have or don't have your handsprings. Good, maybe one more of those. Great. Okay, so now you might be thinking, I don't know which to choose. If you have both already, you know, in whatever space you have and whatever equipment you have, you can just pick one for today, and then you could maybe pick a different one next time. If you don't have any equipment at home, front handspring is a little bit safer to just practice because you get over your head, the dangerous part, right away in the handstand. If you're in this class, you already have a kick handstand. So you kind of kick handstand and practice going all the way over. You could add something like a couch cushion down. I don't have a big couch cushion, but something like this, so that after my hands are down, if I touch my feet and then I fall back, it's like not so bad, because there's a lot of that in the beginning. So yeah, front handspring if you don't have either. If you feel better about back walkovers, and you can maybe even do like a back limber, which is stand to bridge and both legs over. And back handspring might be worth it for you. It's just that you have to be really comfortable reaching back onto your hands. And then you might want to just talk to us in the live class if you're thinking about doing your first one, so we can make sure that we've covered everything that we can. But for now, let's just give you a little bit of time. So if you're totally lost, work on your front handspring, where you're going to kick to handstand so hard. Maybe I'll try to even do a bit of a flop one, where I kick hard and I try to go over to my feet. And you know, I fell over, but it's like I said, it's safer because we pass our head a little bit more easily. The back handspring is a bit harder in that way. So yeah, you could be like, well, all right, that was my first try. Maybe if I add a little bit of run, or maybe if I add something soft to land on the other side too, I can get a little more of a front handspring. Maybe I'll just pretend that I practiced 10 of those and I'm feeling a little bit better about it. Yeah, so I'm kind of getting to my feet, but I just don't have the push and the speed that I need. I'll do one more. If you already have your back handsprings or front handspring, you should be doing that now. Like, don't worry about what I'm saying. This is for if you're a little bit lost. Right, so that time maybe is the next step where I got to both feet. I didn't quite have enough to stand up, but I'm starting to feel my landing, okay? And then maybe I'll show one more. Let's say I've been practicing with this several weeks, you know, it's gonna take some time, and I'm feeling like I could get it. I could push off. I'm gonna add a little more run again. And I'm like, oh, I made it. I made my first one. Then you always gotta do a dance. And then just work on making it a little bit smoother so we can hopefully connect something. Okay, so after we finish the back handsprings and front handsprings, I'll talk about connecting it. Yeah, so that's kind of how you would work on those front handsprings. Like I said, if you really feel like you want to work your back handsprings more, or you want to do your first one, just talk to your coach with us in the live class before you just try it. Okay? Let's move on to, I want to try to connect two skills. So this really can be any two skills, but if you're wanting to work more towards like a tumbling pass, round off back handspring, right? That counts. One skill round off, second skill back handspring. Connecting them is a little bit complicated, but it's a good goal. If you don't have back handspring, it could be like front handspring straddle jump. You connect those two. Or it could be cartwheel, back walkover even. Doesn't even have a back handspring in it, but it's two skills that we're trying to make smooth, okay? In order to make these smoother skills happen, let's say I want to do cartwheel back handspring. I have to land my cartwheel and be so secure that I could do something out of it. Okay, and a cartwheel back handspring sort of steps together. So it's not a round off, but it's not a lunge cartwheel. Anyway, if I'm falling over out of my first skill, it's not gonna be able to be connected. So that's what we're looking for. If I did my cartwheel step together and I was off balance, I of course couldn't go for the second skill. So take a second, decide what you want your pass to be, and work on just the first half. Maybe it's just a few round offs. You know, if you're wanting to connect something from a round off. In this class, a lot of times we'll do like a round off jump, you know, round off full turn, round off straddle jump, something like that. I kind of try to stay away from round off tuck jump too much in case you accidentally start flipping, which isn't that great. But let's say, I think I'm gonna pick cartwheel back handspring step out for my skill. So I'm going to warm up that cartwheel step together again. And yep, there's where I would reach. Okay, let's do just the second skill if you can. So like this would be, I'm going to do standing back handspring step out. You could do another standalone skill you want to do, like if you're doing a jump, just do that jump now. And I'm wondering how my space is going to work out. So I'm actually going to do them both with a pause. So cartwheel step together. And I think I have space. I might just be off the screen. There's my back handspring step out. A little sketchy, but we got it. Okay, so putting them together, it's just a matter of trying to continue some energy from the first skill into the next. That's the whole point of a connection. If you stop completely, you might as well just do two separate skills. So we're hoping that you learn to, whether you're doing a round off rebound straddle jump, you know, you're getting some of the bounce for the straddle from the rebound, okay? So two skills connected. I'll show my cartwheel step together, back handspring step out. This would be a good beam skill if you want to work on a beam pass, but you would need to land, you know, with beam feet. Ta-da! So maybe not the most beautiful, but it's still there. It's also, you know, you just have to get used to a new area. If you're used to a trampoline or you're used to a different kind of floor, it just takes some time. Okay, let's give it 2 more tries at whatever you decided for your tumbling pass. It doesn't have to have a back handspring or front handspring, but if you have one, it is a nice way to start building a tumbling pass. It could be just like a front handspring step out round off, or even a front walk over into a round off. Okay, there are skills that don't require either of the hand springs. Okay, I'd love to see these when we do the live class, so keep it up. Maybe even pause the video if you want a few more extra practice rounds since we're all warmed up. But otherwise, let's do a water break and we're going to move on to our next couple of skills. Ready? Let's say water break together. 1, 2, 3. Water break! All right, we're back. We've got one more kind of big tumbling move to do, and then 3 slower things, including the game. So hang in there with all the big stuff. One more time for me. It's going to be aerials. Okay, I'm going to be talking mostly about side aerial, like a cartwheel with no hands. Some of you in the class already have a nice aerial, and we might start doing some front aerial drills. So maybe you can ask me in the live class, or ask Coach Mika or Coach Kina or Coach Sarah, whoever it is, Coach Joseph. Ask us about some front aerial drills, okay? But for now, the bulk of you are still working on side aerial, so let's do 10 cartwheels. Kind of fun if you're in the advanced class to do 5 on each leg, and try to make them kind of quick, right? So I will race you to 10 cartwheels. They still have to land in a lunge, still have to start in a lunge, so you can't just go like, you know, leave your hands down. Yeah, you have to do the whole thing. Okay, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, yeah, kick hard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can do it. 9, 10, done. Whew, a little dizzy. Pretty good. Okay, so if you can get it really fast, you've probably got 2 parts happening. There's a big kick in the beginning and a leg coming in close at the end. Okay, so we think of aerial as kind of having these 2 parts as opposed to like a back tuck would have 3. So we've got the kick here and the jump here. That's the takeoff. Then we've got this turn that happens, and we've got the landing leg really close. We actually don't care too much about the back leg on the landing because it should still be in the air when you land. Okay, so it's really all about the first leg that lands. Okay, now that we've done our 10 warm-up cartwheels, let's do dive cartwheels. And again, if you have more space, go find more space. If you need to move a little bit, you can. And you can choose, some of us do an arm circle to help with a little height. That's how I do it. Some of us just do arms out, arms in. So I'm not going to worry too much about the arms because there's so much variation, but really you need to be pushing with the front leg, kicking with the back leg, getting as much flip as you can before the hands touch. Okay, we're not going to do one arm cartwheels in this class. I want to see the height. I want to see the jump. Okay, so let's do a couple of dive cartwheels. Whew, I need to do that a little higher. Okay, so I'm really focusing on landing square because I also don't want to twist my ankles or knees or anything. Once you've warmed up your dive cartwheels, it's really just trying to make it higher and faster and getting some confidence on touching the hands later. Okay, so if you imagine that I'm in the air and I touch my hands right when my landing foot touches, that means you basically did an aerial. You didn't need the hands, okay? But if the hands touch really early before the leg, you probably still need to keep doing dive cartwheels. Okay, so it's not something you really need a spot for. You just need to keep improving until it's good enough to do no hands. Okay, ready? Let's do 5 aerials or 5 more dive cartwheels. Okay, maybe I'll make it my goal to get this with you guys. So if you've seen any of mine, I feel like they're high enough, but my legs slow down a bit in the middle. So I'm gonna keep working on that. Definitely still using the hands. One more try for me. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of time for aerials. Again, if you want more time, just hit pause and keep going, especially if you moved. I know some of you do these outside where you can get a bit more run. So take your time, give it, between 5 and 10 tries, because after this, we're gonna bring it back in, we're gonna slow it down a bit so we can get some balancing in. So let's work on our wrists just a little bit more. Everybody go on your hands and knees. And, make some circles around your hands with your shoulders. I know we just did all that tumbling. My wrists are already feeling it a little bit. But I think if I stretch them out a little bit, I can get a few more good minutes of handstands, which is what we have next. And then I'll just let them rest after that, Tumbling is a little bit hard on the wrists because we're used to using our ankle and foot to land. And now we're saying we really want to do these back handsprings, even though it's a little hard on the wrist. So you just have to means you have to take care of them. Let's do some flashlights. Remember, that's arms straight in front. Pretend there's a light coming out of your palm, and you shine it straight forward and blink it like that. Okay, so don't get too lazy and have it pointing down. It's really flexed as much as you can. Open and close, open and close. Then you do it at yourself, so the light is shining on you. Now it's hard to close the fist, but let's not do bent arms, okay? It's straight, close, open, close. It's hard for me too. And then this one, where your arms are bent and you're just twirling it around. So we're getting our wrists a little bit happier. Sometimes you'll notice that I'll squeeze my hand like that, and I'll kind of move it around. I'm just trying to give a little bit of space in all those small bones because maybe they got some pounding. Sometimes it just feels nice to let them spread out a bit. Great. Okay, handstand time. What I want to see and what's the goal for the advanced class is a 10-second, no walking handstand balance. So you can either kick into this or jump in. A lot of you I've noticed are much more comfortable with the kick in just because we start that when we're younger. But sometimes it's really tricky to get exactly to the straight line, so we end up shuffling our hands. Another way is to really start working that jump handstand, which we also do in the class, because it can be a little bit more accurate with approaching the line. If you have the strength and flexibility, a press handstand is going to be even more controlled. Okay, but we didn't really work press handstand today and my wrists are tired, so I'm probably going to do the jump. But do a few and kind of count to yourself, or grab some kind of timer, have your friend or parent or sister or something time you and see where you're at. If you do 5, you know, what's your longest, what's your average, that kind of thing. So I forgot I was going to do from here. Okay, forgot to count, but you know, you've got 2 options when you're trying to balance. You've got whatever shape you're in. So if your shape is really off, you know, you're really archy or you're really, you know, pikey or something, that's the first thing you need to fix because it's a big change. When it gets down to the small stuff, now we're just talking about using your fingertips, getting your hands active in the balance, they say, which is just like not just having your hand there for show, but really using it in the same way we use our feet to balance. Okay, so on your next couple of tries, think shape first and then balance with the fingers or the hands. Okay, we'll do it again. See if I can do it from a kick. It's a little harder for me. Nope. Not enough. So you can see I fell back twice, so I'm going to try to give it a little more kick to not fall back again. There we go. Great. So don't get too discouraged, you know, if you're really walking a lot or you're having a hard time. It just takes time in a handstand. Like if you imagine a little kid when they start walking, you know, it's not really fair to expect them to just know how to balance. So if you feel like you're in that spot on your hands, you just have to keep at it. We did some drills with the wall last week. You could watch last week's video again about how to just come off the wall a little bit. But this week I wanted to just see how you're doing on the open ground because we're gonna do the Healy twirl next, which is our fall theme skill, because you have to fall out of your handstand in order to do it, okay? So maybe give your wrists a break while you watch me, and I'm going to show this Healy twirl again, and then I'll break it down a bit for you. It's actually a full twist from your handstand to kind of sitting, or almost like a Valdez shape, and we call it a Healy twirl. Okay, so I kind of did it fast, but it has to start from a handstand that's falling over. Okay, so try not to hold and just stay vertical. After that, I'll show you how to do just the half turn, where we go to a push-up shape. So I'm going to pick which arm I feel strongest and I want to stay on. It's probably the same one you do for your table to bridge or Valdez. It's probably that arm. For me, it's my right. So my right arm is going to stay on the ground. My left arm is actually going to reach to the other side, and I'm going to try to land and push up. Okay, so you can see that was just a half turn. Be careful of your area. Like, you know, if you're really on a hard ground, just don't let your feet hit too hard. You could try to find a couple yoga mats or something just to pad your feet. Really, the hands should be fine. But I'm going to show another one to the push-up. So handstand, turn, and push-up. So that time I use both feet, which feels a little more right. Okay. So handstand, half turn. This may not be the same way as your cartwheel. Okay, so don't think of it as a cartwheel. In fact, my cartwheel, my belly would face you. Okay, so that was that direction. And when I do my Healy twirl or my Healy twirl drill, you won't see my belly, you'd see my back. So you can see how, for me, it's the opposite direction. And I think for most people it's that way, but so think of it more on which arm you want to hold yourself, kind of like when you do a Valdez or table to bridge, or like a one-arm walkover usually is that side. Again, this is for most people. It might change for you. If you can get to the push-up, I'll show you the next bit, and it's not connected yet. Handstand, push-up. Now I'm actually going to reach back the other way, okay? And the twisting is a little confusing, but basically the arm that stayed down in the beginning has to stay down again. So I just pick this one back up, okay? So it goes, I'll do it without the handstand. I go handstand. This is my glued down arm over here. I reach over for push-up. I reach back behind me for that. So it's important that the arm, so it doesn't go like this. I know that feels more like a full turn, but there's no arm that supported you in the middle of that. Okay, so again with the pause, it's going to be half turn push-up, half turn back, okay? Like that. Sounds good? Okay, we're just kind of going through the motions for this Healy twirl. If that felt really good, you just do it quickly and you don't actually touch the second hand. It just reaches over, reaches back. I'll show it one more time, but it takes a while, so I wouldn't expect to get this skill in one day. But I do want to move on because we have a game, the Y-scale scarecrow contest. Okay, so this is one more full thing Healy twirl. See if you can notice how my hand reaches over and back. Okay, so this is I'm doing the two things that you just did with reaching over to push up and back, but I'm just doing it really quickly, but it still has to be after the handstand. Handstand, over and back. Okay, so then at the end I kind of hit my foot and my hand and my butt kind of all at the same time because I'm spreading out that impact. It would be nice to keep my hips up a little higher actually. It would just look nicer, but okay, hopefully you guys have fun playing with that. I really like that skill and people think it's pretty flashy, pretty interesting looking. So, and it's actually not too hard if you can follow along. The last thing we're gonna do is our Y-scale contest. So, Y-scale is this position. And I fell over so I would lose, but try both sides and pick which side you like. There's a couple things going on. One is that whatever better split you have is going to be more flexible. Like this is my better split. It's easier to hold that leg up. But maybe you've been balancing on one leg your whole life with the other side. So maybe you actually like to do your less flexible leg because of the balance. So there's a couple other things. Here at Casio we like to do holding the front side of the foot instead of the back. Some people will do that. This is so that if you're really flexible, you can reach over and actually pass the leg behind you. So it's like straight up and down split. And if you've got your hand behind you, then your shoulder is actually blocking that. So grab in the front, straighten, straighten, straighten. Make sure your upper body is not vertical because then I'm tilted over. It's called a Y because this part needs to be this way. The leg is over here. The bottom leg should be straight up and down and not tilted on the bottom. Okay? So one more practice round, then we're going to do a contest. Nice. You can practice pointing your toe over there. Looking at something that's not going to move will help. Okay, ready? So let's do a contest with me and you right now. And if you come to the live class, you can do it with the rest of your group also and see who can hold the longest. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1, grab the foot, straighten it up and hold as long as you can. We got it. Trying to balance without hopping. Oh, come on. Ah. Okay, I don't know what that was. Maybe 5 seconds or so. Maybe you beat me. If not, just back the video up a little bit, try it again, and maybe you'll win this time. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the fall theme advanced class, and we'll see you either in a live class or a recorded class later. Bye.